I'm going to introduce you one of my landscape paintings. The title is My Old Hometown or Old Home Village. On screen, the first two characters from left, my art name, and following by two more words, 山水 means landscape paintings. This time I'm only introduce you one of my manuscripts. This is the scroll. The height is 48 inches, the width 24 inches. With the title, with the characters there, it's called Apricot, Spring Rain, and Old Southern Bank of the Yangtze River, which is my home village. And it shows after rain, a lake near the Yangtze River, where the villagers enjoy fishing and also farming. At the very beginning, we see the weeping willows close to us, showing the apricot flowers, and the temple, and also a waterfall. And this is a very different way of arranging things. If you have been in this area, you will say, I didn't see the temple because the weeping willow is in front of you. And also the waterfall, miles away. It's not possible for you to see at the same time. And this is called the Oriental Perspective. We show people by telling the stories. That means first you enter this place as the gate, enter the world created by the artist. Then you're traveling, passing this place and to the bridge, then there must have a way to go to a village. And you will see waterfall. Now if you keep going, you will see the temple on the other side of here. There must a way to let us go to the further waterfall. And the idea is called the dragon's vein, meaning this is the head of the dragon, this is the neck of the dragon, and this is the back of the dragon, and then come to the tail of the dragon. And the dragon vein is very important to the Oriental landscape painting. That means you have to be a bird flying someplace here. Then you see the first part, the head of the dragon, then you keep flying and come to this place and go that place, and finally you feel very high already up in the air. The birds flying above this waterfall and still see lots of mountains in distance, and then ended with the title of the painting, Apricot Flower, Spring Rain, and Old Hometown. And this was painted 12 years ago, and one day after the first full moon, and I second time received a letter from my younger brother. So I inspired, I painted this painting. I just mentioned the word created by the artist, the landscape painting, got a gate. And this is the gate, this is the entrance. You see the water is here coming in. And this is the entrance of my word. Then you see, if you're a bird, you fly a little bit higher, then you see the apricot flower in the mirror. And weeping willow in front of you. This kind of a point of view, this kind of perspective, really only can be seen by a bird now flying higher and higher. Then until it reaches the top of the weeping willow tree. But we also can travel by following the water to the right side. The land continues, and actually this was a road dividing the small water on the right side and away from the big lake. Now you can see here a road entering this village, and water is very near us. Then you will see there's a fisherman. We prefer to have peoples in our landscape painting, even today, the modern days, with the fishermen dressed very simply like olden days. No collar, a robe, and with a simple hat. The fishermen in our painting just symbolically telling people a village is nearby. Then let's following the mountain road, and you see behind the trees there's a bridge, so you can go to the right. There are more weeping willows on this side. Okay, the birds keep flying higher and higher away from the first place. Then we will see the big lake with two stairs moving towards right. And up there we see a temple behind the cliff. I like to mention, although we move from one corner to another corner, one side to another side, one place to another place, every moment, every time the camera will let us have a very good composed painting. This is supposed to be. If a landscape painting cannot show separately, individually, or part after part in good composition, that is not a good landscape painting. And then you see on the other side of the cliff we see the waterfall. Then the birds keep flying higher and higher and higher. Then there's another waterfall behind it. And the mountains, I mentioned about the dragon veins, keep growing. This is the backbone of the dragon. Then here, the body disappeared. Then surely it drops down, and then we see the tail. The tail of this dragon. And disappear in the mist. And after that, the birds keep flying to the left, and you will see we have writings. The first character say apricot, flower, spring, rain, the old Jiangnan, means the southern bank of the Yangtze River. The year of the rat. One day after the first full moon, I received second time my younger brother's letter, because we have been separated almost half a century. So I was very inspired and painted this to tell people how much my feeling, especially 乡愁 means the homesickness. Lastly, I will tell you a landscape painting must have something to do with even the modern theory called designing. Now, I will show you here the top of the mountain with this kind of a movement, this shape, this form. But you have to know, I purposely make the mountain in distance actually as the same movement like that to reach the feeling of harmony. Not only the top, even here, and even this small peak of the cliff, and even this smaller mountain. And surely this is the idea of harmony. Then you will say, how about this part? This part, still the same. We're following the idea of the patterns. For example, here we will have the mountain top remain the same. I'm not always paint mountain tops like this, but this is Jiangnan, the southern bank of the Yangtze River. So the texture is finer and with very, very gentle little touches of that. So these are not hard, big, huge rocks. Then come to the shape of the tree. I hope you still remember coming down, up, down, up, down. The shape of the top of the tree remained the same like the mountains you just seen. This is the end of the painting. We come back. And surely the water weeds here is only to tell people this is the dividing lines, the land and the water. It's also symbolically. The dragon vein is the positive for the design, but also the clouds and the water is the negative. You will see the clouds here like steps. It also creates the Chinese term a dragon. Then the dragon body turns this way and come here and down to this place, passing the bridge is the neck of the dragon, and here is the last part of the dragon. Greetings. This is Professor Zhu speaking. This will be the tape, the first lesson of Chinese calligraphy. The words calligraph or calligraphy, surely most of you know the meaning. C-A-L-L-I, Kali, means beautiful. Graphy or graphic means something written, something printed, something with marks. And so calligraphy is supposed to say beautiful writing. But the Chinese calligraph something more than just beautiful writing. This is what we are going to study this moment. Chinese calligraphy has a long history, almost 5,000 to 6,000 years the history. Then first I will show you the changes in the past for that many thousand years, the style of the writing. It's called the seer style, very ancient written Chinese characters. Surely this is a part of the poems. The first one is to say mountain, our mountains. The second one you can see a house being built here, some kind of building with a window. And we put another building on top. This is the character to say tall or very high. So here we say the mountain is very high. And this is a new moon. It's half the moon. And this is to say small. And now you can see we do not have a verb here. If we put it into English, we'll say, because the mountains are very high, so we fear the moon is very small. And this is water, running water. And this is to say drop, lower, decreased, and this the rock. You can see this is the cliff, and this square representing a piece of rock. And this means coming out. So when the water becomes lower, then we see rocks emerge from the water. These are very ancient and mostly like a pictures, like a painting. After the seer style, around 200 BC to 200 AD, in China we have different kind of style of writing. This is called the Li Su. Li Su means the clerk, the government officers' work. We can very clearly tell it was behind the time we invented brushes and paper. And very clearly all the strokes made by soft bristle made brushes. Then after Han Dynasty, China become the golden age of art. It's a Tang Dynasty. The writing changed. This is called the Kaishu. The brushes become softer even. The paper very absorbent, and the artists beginning to use brush to make characters square and square and square. What I mean is like this. So you can tell now this is the beginning of the Chinese people invented the movable monotype. So they can have each type with one word on it and printed their books. Kaishu is very much commonly for the student to learn for the first few years. It's called normal style and very much in certain kind of formation. The books like dictionaries, newspaper, today even using this style. Lastly, we will show you the style called running style or grass style. You can see this word here like this, and a long line, and also especially this one, it moves fast. And this is the last, really, when a person really know the ancient style and the normal style, then when he can move faster and faster, this will be the result. For example, this is only one circle and this is only one vertical line. The normal style will have 3 dots, and this even have more. I will show you later. We just saw the seer style, the characters showing mountain. I will do it again. Very much a picture. Mountain. Oh, sure, it's supposed to say mountains, but the Chinese language got no number, no gender, no tense. So I say mountain, but also mountains. But later, the style changed. Then, this is very, very ancient, called the Oracabon, or big seer, and this is called a small seer. And the Kaishu means the normal will be like this. Still the same word, still to say mountain. Okay, if I move faster, still mountain. Now if I move even faster, still mountain. You see here, the same kind of idea from this to today. Actually today the modern people like to move faster, everything quick. It's like we have to make just quick marks so everybody, but this is very close to this. This is close to that. This is close to this. Surely some people still will do this. And quite related to this. I will show you one more characters, the ancient and the development to today. This is a very much the ancient character. This is the ancient character, say bird. Then later we have this slightly changed. The dots become one line. And the wing disappears, but here still have the same. And the normal today, because the invention of the brush, you notice the way I'm holding brush. This is the character today to say bird or birds, but here surely it's just one bird. Now if we move fast, it will be like this. Here still the beak, the head, and the body, and we do not know why people invented to have one line to represent the 4 strokes. Now I'm going to tell you how many different strokes for all the Kaishu characters. We have one word like this. There are 8 different kind of strokes being contained here in this character. This character pronounced Yung means everlasting, means forever. There are 8 different kind of strokes. The first thing is here, and this is a dot. And the second will be a horizontal line from left to right. Then after that, a vertical line down to the lower part. And the third one is a circle here and pick it up. Let me show this part once again. Down and make a circle and up. Then we will have another 2 or 3 strokes. One is this, something like a check going up. It's not the dots, this down going, this up going. And another one, this being called a knife, a sword. Pause here and here. And surely this is also a shorter knife. The last lay actually is the hardest. A pause, then a pause here. After that, you see the slow motion. I move my brush to the right. And this is being called a boat. Actually, it looks like a spoon. And you can see now they're all the different strokes to make Chinese characters, all completed here. A student must learn dots, horizontal, vertical, hook, upgoing, downgoing, long knife, short knife, and a boat. Now I'm going to give you some more samples and also will give you explanations. The important thing is the sequence. We have to have the left side first. Then this is a vertical line, a horizontal line, a turning, and a hook. Then a horizontal line. The I-Hsiung, just like this. The meaning of this word is the sun. Okay, the second, still I started from the left side, then the right side, then down with the hook. And 1 and a 2. You have seen this. The I-Hsiung character is this. Means the meaning. Okay, then I will show you another 3 dots here. This is a check. Okay, horizontal line and a square, and go down a circle. This is a word to say river. And I will show you another character. Actually, it's very simple, only 2 movements. This side is a knife, this side is a boat. The meaning of this word, man or man, yeah. And here, another character. It's the same like this, only with 1 horizontal line. And I will show you a little bit complicated one. 1, 2, and 3. You see a short knife and a horizontal line, vertical line, a hook, and a longer knife. and a boat. And I have to give you the meaning. This is to say big or large or great. And actually this is very interesting. This is a writing for my family name. This is the first part of my lesson. Later, surely we'll have another tape will show you how to hold the brush and how to prepare ink, and more and more samples will be introduced, especially the composition. And this is the lesson 1 for Chinese calligraphy.